5-minute podcast, episode 3. I'm realizing that these are actually really don't require a lot of preparation. You can just press record, but they require some preparation. You can't just jump on and say nothing. Discovered that. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Today's an excellent day to windsurf or fly a kite that you want to destroy, or create wind-based energy. I'm here at the gym for, let's see what time it is here, 11:32. Just have to finish this in 5 minutes to follow through on my commitment for this to be the 5-minute podcast. Thanksgiving, I'm not going to do a Thanksgiving post, actually. I'm going to do, and this is contrary to what my commitment was on the 5-minute podcast. I never said this, but before I started this thing, I really wanted to not have any discussions on things that were political. Just because I don't think either side really cares about the other side, and I'm not convincing anybody, and I'm not really educated enough or clever enough or convincing enough to share my side and have the other side say, yeah, oh, that's a really good point, we're switching teams. But, you know, as many of you might know, I'm involved with the United Conservative Party here in Grand Prairie. I'm on Tracy's board, and we had an important election last Thursday, leadership election, which elected a new leader, new premier for the province. So I kind of want to talk about that today. Now, for me, I don't know if anybody saw what the results were, but there was a vote on Thursday, and Danielle Smith, who will be sworn in, I think, tomorrow, is the new premier. She's the new leader. She had 53% of the vote. Travis Taves had around 46%. It went all the way to the 6th ballot, and the way the election works is that if neither candidate gets 50% in the first round, the last place candidate gets knocked off, and all of their second votes go up and roll up into every other candidate remaining in the pool. And so it went all the way to the 6th round, 6th and final round. All that was left was Travis Taves, Danielle Smith, and Brian Jean. And Danielle Smith took it. And so I just wanted to give a bit of my commentary on the results of that election. We're 2 minutes in now. We've got 3 minutes left. I was on Team Taves. My guy lost. I was hoping that Travis was going to win. It would have been nice to have had a premier from our area. I think Travis has done an excellent job fiscally, taking us out of debt. And of course, some people are just saying, well, that's a result of the oil prices. And so, Travis just sat in his office and the oil prices went up, and so he looked like a hero. I don't think that's the case at all. In fact, I kind of wanted to speak a little bit to this. One of my favorite things to watch is people who really dump on other successful people and explain away all of the reasons why it was easy for them, right? It was the right timing. These are all the circumstances that aligned perfectly so that they looked like a champ. I am very cautious to do that anymore, because I don't really think that people who are successful on an ongoing basis continue to get there by accident. Anyway, so good job, Travis. So my guy lost, and so I've been reflecting a little bit on what this means for the province. And here are my thoughts on Danielle Smith, really quick, because I got 2 minutes left. If the things that Danielle Smith said in her acceptance speech are the way that she's going to govern, I think it's going to be fine for this province. Now, lots of people will say to me, well, look, Danielle Smith she's a good speaker. She ran a radio show for a while. She's clever. She's a good communicator. She writes good speeches, but she can't be trusted. Okay, well, I haven't done enough research to know if that's the case. If the things that Danielle Smith said in her acceptance speech are the way that she's going to govern, I really think it's going to be good for this province. Listen to some of these things. First of all, the way she opens is so cringy. She's the only person with a more awkward cackle than Kamala Harris. I was just waiting for her to be like, "We did it, Joe. Joe, we did it." She didn't, but hers was the equivalent of something like, "I'm back." Anyway, that's being petty. I think it's such a weird cackle. I think she actually will have a lot of really great political caricatures, unfortunately, to be made fun of. But here's my thought. Here's some of the things that she said. With her Alberta, we will no longer have to ask permission from Ottawa to be prosperous and free. We will no longer be told what to put in our bodies to be able to work or travel. Now, this one's controversial. 90% of the province has been vaccinated once. Around 82, I want to say, has been vaccinated twice. But this one, for me, was very significant because I think she's one of only one or two leaders that would have had the courage to say this had they won. Certainly of those that were in the top three. I could be wrong about this. But there was a time, and the reason why I think this is important is because a significant part of the division that came through COVID was a result of the messaging that came from government. What does that mean? Well, I couldn't go to my son's hockey game in town, in the city. I had to wait out in the vehicle, and I said, "Hey, buddy, you go play hockey, and I'll wait out in the vehicle." But in the county, I was allowed to go see him. Why? Well, because the government said that unvaccinated people were so dangerous to be around that we actually should keep them out of gyms, restaurants, pools, public spaces. So that's fine. Wherever you stand on that, whatever, that's fine. The reality is the government said that unvaccinated people are so dangerous we need to keep them out of public spaces. And so and then on a municipal level, municipal governments had to decide whether or not that was true for their particular facilities. So that's one of the things that she said, and she said it early, and I think that it was bold and courageous, because some people might say, well, she can't win the general election now if she carries that position. I will say this, though, of the number of people who have had the third dose, I think it's around 40%. Even those who have been early adopters of the vaccine don't have a ton of faith in the narrative that suggests that you need to continually be vaccinated, and I can use air quotes because I just am not convinced it's a vaccine. A vaccine is a treatment that keeps you from getting the disease, and maybe you need a booster once in your lifetime. Anyway, that was one of the things she said. What are some of the other things that she said? We'll no longer have our resources landlocked or energy sector phased out of existence by virtue signaling Prime Minister. Not challenging to agree with that one. I think that one is easy to agree with. She wants to build the most free and prosperous country in the world, and she did say country, she didn't say province. And this speaks a little bit to her ambitions to enact the Sovereignty Act here in the province. She wants to have a competent, cooperative, united party. She wants affordable living for students, single parents, and seniors. She wants to reform the dysfunction of the AHS. She wants to repair relationship with doctors and nurses. She wants students to get the education assistance that they need. She wants a hand up for those who are on the streets. When I look at the stuff that is in her speech, and she did speak to the Sovereignty Act thing. She said, ultimately, Albertans love Canada, but they want to be able to live and grow and prosper in the manner that we choose. The language was the sort of language that I am comfortable with, that I wanted to hear from a premier. Now, was she my pick? Was she my favorite? No. And, am I getting duped by somebody who has silky smooth speech and is our articulate language smith? Maybe. But when you look at the things that are being committed to on day one of the job, so to speak, these are things that I could get behind. These are the kind of things that I don't think are substantially partisan, divisive, but I do think that they capture a voice for the common person, and I think they also communicate. Albertans have a history of having a valuable resource that we think we ought to have the right to export, get to market, keep energy out of the hands of dictators that are funding wars. And those are things we should be proud of. Those are things we should be proud of as Albertans. And I think these are a lot of the things likely that Travis would have said and continued to support. Certainly the fiscal side of it, had he won. But when I look at the language and the message being sent, I think I'd go as far as saying I am supportive. And I mean, at this point, she's the premier of the province. I am in the UCP camp. We still continue to have, you know, a UCP government in our riding, and I think that this is good news for the province. So this might make some enemies for me, but I just wanted to have a bit of a conversation. 43. I don't even know when I started now. But that is the 5-minute podcast for today. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Those who were United Conservative members who voted for somebody other than Danielle Smith, those who voted for Danielle Smith, those who hate the UCP and think the only healthy solution for this province is an NDP government. Give me some feedback. Let's hear some comments, because the health of this province and the disunity of this province needs to be repaired. Is Danielle the one to do it? I don't know.